All right, if you're learning to read tarot, this is the Pentacles suit, as condensed as I can possibly make it. I say this about every suit, that they're my favorite, but every suit is my favorite. I'm just such a fan of how people show up in the tarot. Pentacles, obviously, as a representation of the element earth, is what I will look at when I see pentacles is stability. I also see things associated with like the obvious or more literal interpretation of seeing the pentacles as coins. So of course this is where I'm gonna see career, work, home, stability, finances, depending on what your querent is asking for. And so that's kind of where I just look at and I read reversals. So if something is going to be reversed, then I might see them in a state of distress as far as home, finances, depending on what we're looking at, versus being upright or just whatever is on the imagery of the card. For kind of the lighter aspects of pentacles, I've covered a little bit of already, but again, I see, something steady, something abundant, something, I see patience in the pentacles. I see hard work, but also sometimes investment, and that can be represented as hard work or like kind of when you think of passive income. I can even just see wealth in Pentacles suit. As far as people in the Pentacles suit, these are really like nurturing people. These are people that give sound advice. They're people that are dependable and always there for you. They're also very stubborn. And again, you just think of that earth element and what does that earth element mean to you? So again, these are my definitions and this is how I connect to this suit. You obviously need to connect to it in your own way. But I can see pentacles as something that's unmoving for better or worse. So again, that can be something steady and reliable. It also means someone stubborn and stuck in their ways. So stuck is another really great word for pentacles, because if someone is in the suit, sometimes they're not moving. So if this is someone that needs to get something done and I don't have any wands in that reading, then probably that's what we're going to need to dig out. Is this is someone who's very much stuck or sometimes just content in what they already are or what they're doing. Another thing that always comes up for me in the Pentacles suit is nature. And I don't know if that's just that earth connection coming through, and I maybe just take it a little bit too literally, but I will see, this is where I see gardeners, people that like to be in nature in some expression. So summarizing suits, you'd want to just say that this is practical, reliable, steady, and just again, that imagery is slow and steady wins the race. This is someone who's kind of like working at something, even if this is, say, wealth or passive income. It's probably some of this has kind of been, I see growth, and Pentacles, I see ambition, but not in the same way that I see it in Wands, where Wands is like fire and passion and movement, and this person is going hard. Pentacles, I see ambition from a slightly more set back way, which is a little bit more pensive. I find Pentacles will tend to think things through. And again, just versus a Wands is going to be a little bit more impulsivity. So Pentacles, less impulsivity, a lot more thinking things through. Strategy I'll see in Pentacles, especially if it's tied with swords, but not always. Sometimes I'll just see that strategy in the Pentacles suit. I also find Pentacles to be really regal. So if you think about, maybe, I don't know if you're familiar with a Leo, but I definitely tie in Pentacles to Leos. I see that kind of like lion heart thing where they will tend to own their space. So when a Pentacles person comes into the room, they're gonna be noticed, and not because they're being very boisterous, but just because they are a noticeable type of person. Shadow sides of Pentacles are going to be stuck, stubborn, insecure, because if we think about Pentacles being security and reliability, then our shadow sides of that can be unreliable and and insecure. And the funny thing about Pentacles is I do find them to be very polarized, which is, you know, you just are or you aren't. Like they're kind of like almost black and white there, or the personalities can lean on that, is that it must be this or this. Not always, but often. Going even further into the shadow sides, I can see abuse in reverse Pentacles, or I have seen abuse, and this can be physical, emotional, or otherwise. But if I'm going to see it, it's going to come up in the Pentacle suit for me. And of course, this is going to be where any kind of loss of security is represented. So that's financial loss or home loss, something like that. I also strongly encourage you to check out my video about ethics and reading, because I feel really, really strongly about being really mindful of how you communicate to someone. So for instance, if you see in their reading and it's represented in a space of, you know, that's coming to them as it hasn't happened yet, and you see financial loss, or you see a job loss, or some sort of security loss, just be really, really compassionate and mindful about how you are communicating that to a person, because it's not super helpful to be like, oh, so you're gonna lose all your money, bye. Be really, really smart about how you're saying that to someone. And the way that I will usually do that is actually just telling them to that, oh, it looks like you might be going through some difficulty in the future. I think what might be a really good idea for you right now is to save, or to put away a little nest egg, or just make sure that you have some resources available to you. And instead of just being like telling them that something's going to fall apart, instead offering what tools or resources might be supportive in buffering that experience a little, instead of just telling them that everything's going to hit the fan. Make sense? Hopefully. The other thing you can do around that is to actually draw more cards around that card. So if you see an undesirable outcome or something that you don't feel comfortable relaying to someone, then it's maybe putting more cards down and seeing how you can offer more support or guidance around that outcome, as opposed to just saying, hey, stuff sucks. If you want to follow me on Patreon, I have more videos and more tutorials listed there that get a little bit more in depth. I would love to have you on there. But hey, I'm also super stoked if you just want to comment on this video or like it, would be awesome. And if you have questions, I love questions, so please ask.